On a crisp April morning in 2025, the Thorne estate stood like a silent sentinel over the rolling, wooded hills of upstate New York, its ancient stone walls draped in ivy that seemed to whisper secrets of forgotten eras, its iron gates groaning open with reluctant gravitas as a parade of luxury vehicles, sleek Bentleys purring softly, ostentatious Lamborghinis roaring their arrival, and silent Teslas gliding in on electric whispers, ferried in 42 of the elite, heirs, distant relatives, investors, and advisors, all drawn by the mysterious disappearance of Logan Alexander Thorne, the tech billionaire whose private jet had vanished without a trace over the vast, unforgiving Pacific Ocean 6 months earlier, leaving no wreckage, no body, only a void that sparked global headlines and whispered conspiracies, and a $90 billion empire of tech patents, real estate, and a biotech firm poised for the taking. Inside the grand hall, the air was thick with the scent of old money, polished oak paneling that gleamed like it held centuries of secrets, supple leather armchairs imported from Italy, and the faint, delicate perfume of fresh roses arranged in crystal vases, each costing more than a year's rent for a Manhattan apartment. Massive chandeliers hung overhead like frozen waterfalls of diamonds, catching the soft April sunlight filtering through tall arched windows and scattering it into rainbows that danced across the cold, veined marble floors. The crowd of 42 mingled with calculated elegance, relatives both close and distant, investors with stakes in Thorne's biotech conglomerate, advisors who'd once whispered strategies in his ear, and assistants who'd fetched his coffee with feigned loyalty, sipping champagne from flutes etched with gold filigree, their condolences delivered in rehearsed tones as hollow as their insincere smiles, each one masking a burning anticipation for the division of Logan's fortune. But into this glittering den of vultures slipped a solitary figure, unassuming as a shadow in the midday sun. Ivy Clark, her simple flats whispering silently against the marble, blending into the background with deliberate quietude. At 36, Ivy was a vision of understated beauty that didn't demand attention but lingered like a haunting melody. High cheekbones that spoke of quiet resilience, hazel eyes that saw through facades, dark hair pulled into a low bun with a few rebellious strands framing a face that needed no makeup to captivate, her outfit a testament to simplicity. A loose gray linen dress prioritizing comfort over couture, a faded pale blue cardigan that had seen countless washes and hung slightly off one shoulder, and a plain cloth bag slung over her arm, hand-stitched without a single designer logo. She chose her spot carefully, in the back corner near a tall window framing the misty hills outside, rolling green under a pastel sky. A place to observe without becoming the center of scrutiny, or so she hoped. The sneers began almost instantly, as predictable as the tide. Preston Thorne, Logan's second cousin, a man in his mid-40s with a gaudy gold tie that screamed insecurity, leaned against a mahogany side table, his Rolex glinting with every exaggerated gesture as he scanned the room, his eyes landing on Ivy like a hawk spotting prey. "Is that the maid?" he quipped, his voice laced with half laughter and half mockery, deliberately loud to draw chuckles from a cluster of cousins nearby, their laughter rippling outward, sharp and insincere, like shards of broken glass shattering the fragile veneer of civility. Marissa Thorne, Preston's younger sister, tossed her perfectly highlighted blonde hair over one shoulder, her crimson dress hugging her figure like a second skin designed to command attention. "Maybe she's here to dust the will before it's Reed," she scoffed, her barb landing perfectly, eliciting more brittle laughter that echoed off the high ceilings like cracking ice. Across the room, Clara Evans, Logan's 28-year-old niece who had leveraged her family name into a tech startup and a massive TikTok following, nudged her friend Elise, a former assistant to Logan's CFO, her manicured nails painted electric blue, tapping impatiently on her phone. "Bet she's one of his charity cases," Clara whispered loudly enough for Ivy to overhear, or a sad ex-mistress looking for a payout. "Look at that bag, like she's carrying her lunch in a potato sack from the thrift store." Elise snickered behind a hand adorned with stackable rings, pulling out her iPhone to snap a discreet photo of Ivy. "This is going on my story. #ThorneWillFlop," she murmured, her voice dripping with gleeful malice. Clara's fingers danced across her screen, typing a caption she read aloud to ensure Ivy heard. "Found Logan's charity case crashing the will reading. Guess she thinks thrift store chic gets her $1 billion slice. The post went live, and the crowd around them erupted in laughter, some pulling out their phones to like, share, and comment, the digital world joining the fray as strangers commented, "What a nobody! Desperate much? LOL. Kick her out," turning Ivy into a viral punchline within minutes, mirroring the room's disdain. Ivy stood motionless, her hazel eyes flickering briefly to Clara's glowing screen, but she uttered no word in defense, her silence emboldening them further as if her composure challenged their fragile egos. Elise leaned closer to Clara, her voice laced with faux pity masking venom. "Poor thing doesn't even know she's a meme now, how tragic." The laughter swelled into a chorus of cruelty, painting Ivy as less than human, her dignity a target for their amusement. Ivy's fingers tightened slightly on her cloth bag, a subtle tell of the storm within, but outwardly she remained unflinching, adjusting the strap, her breathing steady, her gaze fixed on the empty chair at the front where the lawyer would sit. To them, her silence screamed weakness, a sign she didn't belong, but they couldn't see the steel beneath, the way her stillness held the room without effort, like a deep current beneath a serene lake. As more guests arrived, fashionably late to underscore their importance, the mockery intensified. Gerald Hayes, a 60-something investor in a pinstriped suit that spoke of boardroom battles, muttered to his wife, loud enough for nearby ears. Logan always had strays from his charities hanging around. "This one's got no business here, probably wandered in off the street." His wife, dripping in emeralds that could fund a startup, nodded, her eyes raking Ivy's outfit. "No class at all," she stage whispered, embarrassing the family by standing there in those rags. Trevor Lang, a distant cousin in his 30s, clad in a velvet blazer reeking of overcompensation, called out boldly, "Hey, sweetheart, the kitchen's that way if you're looking for work," pointing to a side door, grinning as his friends clapped his back. Lillian Ward, an aunt twice removed, clucked her tongue, clutching her pearls. "Really, someone should escort her out before the lawyer arrives. It's disrespectful to Logan's memory." Marissa, sensing an opportunity, swished across the room, her crimson dress whispering, heels clicking like a countdown. She stopped inches from Ivy, towering over her smaller frame, her jasmine and vanilla perfume suffocating. "You're in the wrong place, darling," she said, voice amplified to draw every eye, reaching out with blood-red nails to flick Ivy's cardigan as if it were trash, the graze deliberate. "This isn't a soup kitchen or homeless shelter. Leave before you. Embarrass us further." The crowd watched, smirking, whispering, none intervening, Ivy's hand steady on her bag, the invasion a violation, a calculated threat. A cousin muttered, "She's got nerve staying." The room's approval was palpable, their silence complicit. Ivy didn't move, her eyes flicking to a security camera, its red light blinking, streaming to a server only she and one other accessed. Not here, not yet. As the clock neared 10 a.m., Trevor slipped behind Ivy, his velvet blazer brushing the wall, whispering to friends, "Watch this, hilarious." He snatched a cocktail napkin, scribbled charity case in bold Sharpie, and tucked it into Ivy's bag strap when she wasn't looking. Snickers spread like wildfire, fingers pointing at the humiliating brand. Clara snapped another photo, laughing while Elise whispered, "She's a walking joke now." Ivy, unaware of the napkin, focused on the front, but the crowd's glee charged the air, their amusement a knife twisting in her dignity. Trevor grinned as Lillian muttered, "Serves her right for dressing like that." At 10 a.m., Arthur Grayson entered, a 60-something lawyer with a face etched by decades of estates and feuds, his gray suit crisp, briefcase heavy. The room hushed as he opened it, pulling a sealed envelope, adjusting his glasses, scanning the crowd, pausing on Ivy briefly, unsettling Preston, who whispered, "What's that look?" Before Grayson spoke, Gerald stood, pointing at Ivy, voice booming, "This woman's a fraud. Logan wouldn't let her near his estate. She's a scammer." The room buzzed, heads nodding, eyes narrowing, his wife adding, "Probably a fake ID in that rag bag." The accusation transformed Ivy into a criminal, her presence an offense, each word a lash, but her gaze remained steady, the crowd's outrage a performance, her silence fueling their fire. Grayson cleared his throat. "We're here to read Logan Alexander Thorne's last will, Executed 3 years ago. Verified authentic. Murmurs, 3 years? Logan vanished 6 months ago. Most assumed death, most hoped. Preston smirked. Who gets the keys to the kingdom? Clara tapped her phone, planning her victory post. Gerald muttered about stocks. Lillian whispered about nice summer house. Ivy stood still, bag at her feet, watching Grayson break the wax seal, the crack echoing. The crowd leaned in, breaths shallow, eyes hungry for Logan's empire. Tech patents, real estate, a $90 billion biotech firm. Grayson read, voice steady. I, Logan Alexander Thorne, of sound mind, leave my family, colleagues, associates nothing but truth. Wealth reveals character, not worth. All assets, shares, properties, accounts, intellectual rights, to one person who stood by me for love, not my net worth or status. My wife, Ivy Clark Thorne. Gasps tore through, jagged. Preston barked, wife? Logan wasn't married. Marissa's hand flew to her mouth. Clara mouthed, what the hell? Gerald stood, absurd. It's a scam forged. Lillian clutched Trevor, shrill. Some gold digger stealing ours? Grayson raised a hand. The will is legal. Signed, notarized. Documents available. Marriage certificate. Photos, letters. He showed a photo. Logan, laughing, arm around Ivy in a white dress, courthouse, 7 years ago. Pandemonium. Preston slammed the table. Insanity. Who is she? Clara shouted. Show her. Trevor sneered. Some con artist in Boise. Marissa's voice cut. Why isn't she here? Ashamed. Ivy stepped forward, quiet, deliberate, flat silent, cardigan swaying, stopping beside Grayson, face calm, bag unassuming. Silence deafened. Preston's mouth gaped. Clara flushed. Gerald sank. Lillian's pearls choked her. Grayson nodded. Mrs. Thorne, handing her the folder. She took it, glanced at the photo, lips curving faintly, closed it, faced the room. I didn't come for money, her voice clear, low, a bell through fog. I came to see who'd mourn Logan as a man, not a bank. You showed exactly who you are. Preston, voice shaky. You're his wife? You? Gesturing at her dress. Logan married thrift store trash. Ivy didn't blink. I do shop there. Logan loved me for me. Can you say the same? Clara snorted. Nice act, proof? Photos are fakeable. Gerald boomed. Witnesses, records. Grayson produced a marriage license. 7 years old. Signed by Sarah Ellis, nurse. Michael Reed, librarian. Logan's letters, verified. Joint bank records, private. A USB drive with wedding video. Courthouse steps. Logan in a suit. Ivy in white. Kissing. Laughing. Sarah and Michael clapping. Date matching. Defiance crumbled. Faces paling. Eyes darting to Ivy, who watched with a quiet ache. Marissa stood, raging, set up. You tricked us to look bad. You're nobody. Ivy's voice cooled, sharp. This was a test, to see if you'd ask who I was before mocking, if you'd honor Logan's memory or claw for wealth. You failed, all of you. Trevor laughed nervously. Game show. His voice wavered under her gaze. Ivy pulled a remote. Logan isn't dead, he's watching. She pressed it. A monitor showed Logan, 42, lean, gray-streaked hair, blue eyes sharp, live feed, April 15th, 2025, 10:32 a.m. gasps, shouts, disbelief. Preston stumbled. Clara's phone cracked. Lillian's pearls snapped, scattering. Logan's voice boomed. You thought I was gone. Time to carve my life. I've watched every sneer lie. His gaze to Ivy. She warned me, you showed your colors. Ivy turned. His plane didn't crash. A cover to see loyalty. You rushed, dressed to claim what wasn't yours. This was about truth. Doors opened. Logan entered. Suit simple. Shoes scuffed. Presence a storm. Crowd parted. Whispers dying. He stopped beside Ivy, hand brushing hers. Ivy designed this. Will cameras. To see who'd respect a stranger. Show kindness. None passed. To Preston. You called my wife a maid. Laughed while she stood alone. Did you think I wouldn't see? Preston shrank. A guard led him out. Protests drowned. You're not family, a parasite. Preston pleaded. We didn't know. She said nothing. Logan, she shouldn't have to. You tore her down, cowardice. Clara begged. Sorry, forgive us. Logan, consequences. Grayson read addendum. Insulters cut off. Preston, Marissa, Clara, Gerald, Lillian, Trevor. Guards moved. Preston shouted. Marissa sobbed. Clara clutched her cracked phone. To Clara, you mean my wife, lies don't last. Grayson tapped. Clara's accounts collapsed. Posts deleted. Followers fled. Sponsors cut. Banned from my life, Logan said as she was let out. Phone slipping. Gerald's wife argued. She has no class. Logan, you don't stay. Lillian's pearls crunched underfoot. Only 3 remained. Sarah, Michael, Anna, who hadn't mocked. Logan softened. You saw her, didn't judge, that's family. To Ivy, you were right. Ivy, I wanted them better. To the 3, thank you for seeing me. Logan whispered, you're more than they'll understand. She smiled, leaning in, cardigan brushing his sleeve. Room quiet, vultures gone. Hills glowed, cameras off. Ivy, born in Oregon to librarian Michael and nurse Sarah, grew up modestly, hand-me-downs, library books, stretched meals, valuing people over possessions. At 25, she moved to New York, a social worker for the forgotten. She met Logan at a charity event, he donating, she organizing. Their love grew in quiet moments. Park walks, hole-in-the-wall cafes, no extravagance. 7 years ago, they married secretly at a courthouse, Michael and Sarah witnessing, Logan insisting on privacy to shield her from his world's vultures. His family circled, Preston, Marissa angling for handouts, Clara using his name, Gerald scheming, Lillian, Trevor chasing. Open bars. Tired, Logan confided, who's real? 3 years ago, they planned. Fake will, staged crash cameras, to test loyalty. Logan hid in Fiji, watching feeds, Ivy managing, heart aching but resolute. They're greedy, she'd report. The napkin stung, but her bag, Sarah's stitching, was armor. Her cardigan, knit during Sarah's chemo strength. Logan's private reckonings. Preston, blood means nothing without heart. Marissa, jealousy's rot. Clara, build real. Gerald, projection. Lillian, learn kindness. Trevor, grow up. Post-reading. Sarah, Michael. Anna got shares for kindness. Logan and Ivy walked hills. Regrets. None. Truth heals. They built charity foundations. Ivy leading. Clara's meme backfired. From meme to queen, trended. Logan to 3. Sarah, you healed me. Michael, your library saved me. Anna, your care grounded this place. To Ivy, my rock. Their love deepened. Estate a charity hub. The Jones life stories. Ivy's tale screams character over wealth. Like, share, subscribe for stories of resilience, truth.